What's up everyone, Mystic Melon here, and I'm coming at you with a Kingdom Hearts theory video. Now, if you're watching this, I should mention there will be some spoilers about Unchained Key, so if you haven't played it or seen it and don't want to hear any spoilers, shoot, scram, get out of here. Done? Aight. So, for the past year, I've been playing the absolute shit out of Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. Like, it's seriously addictive. But even longer than the game being out in North America is the whole, which one of the Foretellers is the traitor the Lost Page is talking about? Now, if you didn't know, Unchained Key lets you make a wielder and you get to join whichever union you want. Each of those unions is led by a Foreteller. You got Ira, who leads Unicornus, Aced, who leads Ursus, Ava, who leads Vulpes, Envy, who leads Angus, and Gula, who leads Leopardus. But it wasn't always just these 5 Foretellers. There used to be a fellow apprentice, Luxu, and they all followed the Master of Masters. Before the Master of Masters and Luxu disappeared, he wanted the 5 Foretellers that we know to form unions to gather Lux, give them specific roles, and each of them an incomplete copy of the Book of Prophecies. Yes, incomplete. I won't be going into their specific roles, but I will be getting into Gula's in just a few moments. The Book of Prophecies the Master of Masters gave the 5 Foretellers is incomplete, and he didn't mention this fact to anyone but Gula. He actually pulled a page from his book and gave it to Gula. It isn't known to the other Foretellers until Ira figures out a page is missing, and that the real traitor might have a full copy of the Book of Prophecies. Because of that, and the fact that he discovered a Nightmare Chirithy around, Ira believes one of them Foretellers is a traitor. Before I get into Gula's role, I want to mention the Master of Masters gave everyone a specific role to maintain a balance and to figure out who the traitor is by them not following their given role. Before I get to Gula's role, I want to mention the Master of Masters gave everyone a role to maintain a balance between the Foretellers and figure out who the traitor is among them. So if they didn't follow the role, it was like, hey you're the traitor. So Gula's the only Foreteller given the Lost Page because it was his role to discover the traitor. He was to find out who it was and get rid of him. So during the events of back cover, he is led to believe it is Aced because he wants to defy their master's teachings to protect the world in his own way. Aced had formed an alliance with Gula, which was forbidden by the master, and did a crappy job of being Ira's right-hand man, which was his role. So it's only natural to believe that he's the person the Lost Page was talking about. Aside from Aced, people believe it's Luxu to be the traitor since he disappeared and had been watching his friends from afar. So this is where the theory comes in. I don't think either of them is the traitor. I actually believe Xehanort is the traitor mentioned in the Lost Page. And here's how I came to the conclusion. So, Ira says the traitor has a Nightmare Chirithy. And through the game, we figure out that it's actually us, the player, who owns that Nightmare Chirithy. I say it's our Chirithy because there's one instance where a Spirit Chirithy that was turning into a nightmare had vanished on the spot. And since there's only one that's still in existence, ours, it gotta be ours, the player. But, since we can join any union, or even switch, then how can a Foreteller possibly be the traitor? You get me? He blames one of them, but it could be either one of them since we can choose whichever union we want to be a part of. So, before the war happens in the game, Gula tells the player an excerpt from the Lost Page, and I quote, "Unable to permit disharmony, you will be disappointed by fate and lose sight of true strength. Misreading the truth, you will venture forth in secrecy, and then with that one strike, a bell will toll for the final battle, and the battle will begin at last, and the chosen time shall be chosen." He also says in back cover that the traitor is someone who, quote, the one who bears the sigil, quote. So, from the text in the Lost Page, it's talking about Xehanort. Why? Well, Xehanort wants to have a Keyblade war for 2 reasons. He wants to see what happens after the war, and he wants to create a war with a perfect balance of light and darkness. The second reason is straight up the first 4 lines in the prophecy, unable to permit disharmony. Straight up. The next couple words are about Xehanort learning that light is more powerful than darkness, and he's disappointed by that fact. He doesn't think either one should be better than the other. So he goes on a quest to make a perfect balance. And in that quest, he becomes a seeker of darkness. And he loses true strength, which is the light, being a guardian of the light. I do believe, however, that Ava and Luxu's strike is the strike that was prophesied, but I believe the time that was chosen was actually referring to the Second War, which is Xehanort's 13 darknesses, and the 7 lights. The back cover portion of Gula's saying about the sigil, I found extreme significance in that one sentence. If you don't know, Kingdom Hearts is full of symbols. You got the nobody symbol, the mastery symbol, the heart, the crown, Roxas's symbol, etc. There's also one sigil that isn't mentioned too often or shown too often unless you really know what it is, and that's the Rikusan sigil. This sigil is basically the X in the nobody's names, the X in Xehanort's names, or really anything X-shaped. So Terra Ventus and Aqua straps on their clothing is an example of that sigil. And I find this extremely important, because that means that Traitor has that either on them or in the name. Oh, I don't know. Xehanort? So, of course, this is all just a theory, so maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. But if you have a theory, drop one down in the comment section below. If you want to talk or maybe play some games, go ahead and add me on PSN. I'll drop my username in the description. And with that, I leave ya. Peace!